In World Solar Challenge, it's like the Formula One of solar cars. But there's so much more to this race than just the car. It's pushing to the limit, completely to the edge of engineering.
So that's in lock position?
It's a lock position.
Everything can happen.
Oh my God.
Throttle and cruise not responding. Move away from the front.
This is a tough race. It is the premier, most difficult, and original solar race in the world. It goes all the way back to 1987, and it's only getting harder. 44 teams from 21 countries are in the far north city of Darwin, Australia. They've brought one-of-a-kind solar-powered vehicles that have taken them years to design and build.
The
Bridgestone World Solar Challenge is every 2 years, and we refresh our team for every challenge to design and build the car. It's insane the amount of work that you put into this. You've got people that have worked 70-hour weeks, maybe 80-hour weeks, to live up to this moment to start the race.
In a high-tech convergence of man and machine, they will attempt a 2,000-mile endurance race, due south, straight through the middle of the outback. With future generations in mind, they're pressing the boundaries of science. But today, they all have one dream: to be crowned the champion of the World Solar Challenge.
He's driving up and down, so less people up here.
We're at the Hidden Valley Circuit together with all the teams. When you're just passing by a team or another team, I started to feel a little bit nervous because a lot of them are good competitors.
This event is nothing if it's not about the passion of these young people, not only dreaming of finding cleaner, greener ways of doing things, but putting those dreams into reality.
Energy is so important to human civilization. When we learned to harness the power of fossil fuels, it led to the prosperity that the world enjoys today. But now, as a byproduct, we're releasing some 43 billion tons of carbon into the air every year, with a devastating impact on Earth's climate. The innovations being tested in these cars show us new possibilities in solar cells, batteries, aerodynamics, and electronics. These technologies might be a path to getting the majority of our energy needs cleanly, just from the sun.
So for us, pushing the boundaries of technology is very important. Apart from that, we also care about the environment, and we want to push the technology so we can take care of our planet.
Representing mostly universities from all over the world, these teams have designed and built vehicles powered only by the sun. They will never be plugged in.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You know, obviously the stress does get to you, but you kind of feel blessed to be here because, you know, you really get to tie in the theoretical learnings of your university course and studies and research and all that sort of stuff into a practical sense.
All right, let's go. Let's go, put it on.
A solar car is basically a solar panel on wheels, with a battery to store energy and a motor to drive it forward. The lighter and more aerodynamic it is, the farther and faster it goes. For these vehicles, efficiency is everything.
So we built a fast and efficient solar car, and that triggers innovation.
There's nothing like a competition to really get people, you know, struggling, pulling all-nighters for years and years, innovating, trying to beat each other.
We develop technologies that are not yet on the market, so we are engineering on a higher level.
This event happens every 2 years. As technology improves, the event limits the size of the car's solar panels and batteries. They've also required upright seating. That is why cars decades ago looked like this, and why today's cars look more like this. There's over 40 entries here, and no two solar cars are exactly alike. And now, after years of work, it's showtime. They have only a few days to get their cars ready, practice, and pass criteria inspections. Over the last 20 years, one team has been absolutely dominant. That is Team Vattenfall from the Netherlands.
We have competed in 9 races and won 7 of them. The 2 times we didn't become first, we became second.
That is quite funny, right? Because a lot of teams are not talking about becoming first or winning the challenge. They're all talking about beat the Dutch, I think. Yeah.
This year, we have used a new innovation in the aerodynamic field. We are using shark skin, and that's based on the skin of a shark.
Shark skin is a film wrap coating with riblets, tiny grooves along the flow that let air pass over it with less turbulence. It can reduce drag by up to 8%.
With that second skin, we can reduce the air resistance of the car. And hopefully that will make the difference during the race.
It's amazing how many different designs there are. Like from the past, thinking about solar races, I've always imagined the cars to look the same, this big flat design, but there's a lot of very different designs going on here. I want to check out some more.
Among the top teams, there are 2 schools of thought in terms of design. The catamaran, which is wide, compact, and possibly more stable, and the bullet design, a long monohull shape, which is a newer concept thought to create less wind drag.
The catamaran is the old style, it's tried and true, and the bullet are more of the trying to make the best use of the regulations to get a really fast car. We still don't really know which one is better, and probably this event will show which one is better.
When it comes to teamwork, the University of Tokai in Japan is extremely well disciplined, and they're the pioneers of the bullet hull design.
The last event, Tokai sort of unveiled the monohull or bullet design, and I think it caught a lot of teams by surprise. What you see this year is, 10 or more of the top teams have kind of switched to that design, and so I think that's validation that oh wow, that was a great idea, and we should have all thought about it.
Tokai has a car that I can't believe is a one-of-a-kind build. The craftsmanship looks like something that just rolled off the production line of a major manufacturer. It's kind of awe-inspiring.
Look at this car.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Where's the motor?
Yes,
That's the motor right there.
just on the one side. We can reach the 140 kph.
140 kilometers per hour.
Yes, exactly.
But you're not allowed to go that fast, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna win?
Yes, of course. I wanna win. So this race is my life work. Yeah.
Looks like everyone's very busy.
Yeah.
Is there any airflow through the cockpit?
Yes, I will show that. Horse.
That's the air coming in right there.
Coming here. Maybe you can see from here.
And when you're in the car, do you take that hose and like this?
Change the position. Yeah. I'm the slave of that race.
Because these solar cars are so finely engineered for efficiency, the tiniest detail can affect their performance. Even a small flapping piece of tape can increase drag by more than 5%. This is why teams try so hard not to damage their cars during testing. But unfortunately for Vattenfall, they've got trouble already.
We were testing on track and then the car hit a wall. So the aerodynamics are really important. So one scratch on the aerodynamics, it's disastrous.
We will investigate what's the problem and what's broken and see if we can fix it in a night or a day. We have to investigate everything. It's going to be hard work because we didn't expect that something like this will happen.
Stanford from the US is a team that is expected to be a threat this year. They've got a bullet design car, and they're one of the youngest teams in the competition. They're almost all undergrads.
How much of your life is this car? That's what I want to know.
Better question would be how much of our life isn't this car? Yeah, I mean, right now it's definitely 100%.
Why is it so important to you? Why does it mean that much?
I think, at least personally, it's beautiful to be able to see something, you know, just more from nothing into this big, beautiful thing that we've all done together, and being able to do it with a group of complete strangers.
This car that we built is powered by the sun. Like, the levels of ingenious and creativity and just perseverance that our team put in to make this car happen, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And I'm one of the drivers as well.
You're the drivers. How did you get to be such gangsta drivers?
We're short. Our hips are small enough. We're willing to
Speak for yourself, okay? Speak for yourself.
We're willing to drive this oven across the outback, so.
How hot?
It's like a sauna in there. You just sweat for hours and hours.
What is the driving strategy?
We got our driver strategy from watching Talladega Nights all together.
There you go.
Team Michigan is a huge crew, and they have a very high-tech car that they're pretty secretive about. This is their 11th World Solar Challenge, and they have never taken home the trophy. But they think their time has come.
We know our car is the best. We are almost certain. When you look at the critical performance characteristics of a solar car, aerodynamics, solar array, and the efficiency of the internal electrical system, we have the best car in the world in all three.
Hey, Dan, make sure the battery's covered.
One thing Michigan is not short on is confidence.
No filming the battery, please. Battery's our secret sauce. Anything we don't get on camera from that is a win in our book. Yep.
The other teams are trying to steal our information. I mean, we've been chasing for the past 2 days, trying to, hey, can you take a step back? Like, this is, don't put your camera there. And it's a game we're playing with them as well.
I think there is this, attitude, so to speak, with Michigan. They just want to display their confidence and psych the other teams out a little bit, but we don't mind.
There we go. Happy?
Yep.
I guess it goes with the old saying, fake it till you make it. So.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Just because these teams made it here does not mean they can run the race. Their cars must first pass rigorous compliance testing by expert race officials. The first one is pretty intense.
This is scrutineering, where each team must bring their car through a series of stations where the cars are basically broken down to make sure they're exactly as they need to be.
This one, steering wheel, mirrors, seat backs.
Yeah, so static scrutineering, we have to take our car in and spend 4-ish hours getting grilled by the judges. So it's definitely a big deal for the team because if they find something that doesn't fit the rules, they can try to make you change it, which can be very difficult.
So we check for driver safety, occupancy, and then we'll also be checking all the mechanical functions, brakes, suspension, steering, sort of important things.
Yeah, of course. Their electrical wiring, is it all to spec? Do they have the right size batteries? Is their mechanical up to scratch?
These space-age looking vehicles must also be street legal, just like any other car on public roads.
There's a small convex section in the canopy here, and I think that's probably just causing a little bit more distortion.
With these events, the organization makes sure that our cars are reliable to go on the road, as it is a race of more than 3,000 kilometers. So it's very important to show that our car is reliable, is safe, and that we can drive more than 3,000 kilometers with it.
Team Agoria from Belgium is expected to be a serious contender in the Outback. They placed third in the last event, and they are back with a motivated and confident team. And really, there's only one thing on their mind: winning.
We've never achieved this before. We definitely have the team that can do it. We have a car that can do it. So our faith is high, but we also need that little bit of luck.
In 2007, Agoria had a crash that wrecked their car. And the following race, they had a battery fire.
But I think since then, we had some rebirth of the team. We did an amazing job in the preparation. So, I mean, I feel like this is the year.
Now, no one wants to experience an accident in a 300-pound solar car made of carbon fiber and a combustible battery, but it happens, so safety is of paramount concern.
Right here, they're checking everything about the cockpit, including how fast can the driver get out in case of emergency. They have only 15 seconds to be able to do that in order to pass this test. Here you go. Time started. He's getting out of the car now. This is in case of emergency. Here he goes. He's got 15 seconds to get out. Here he goes. Here he goes. Got to basically do it all by himself. I think he's going to do it. And he's out. Just made it under 15 seconds. Looking around at all of these solar cars, they look like impractical modes of transportation. I mean, they are by and large tiny little one-seater vehicles that are incredibly hot and stuffy, and who would ever want to drive that? But it is here the teams test out, often for the first time, new technologies with regards to solar cells, batteries, aerodynamics, drivetrains, electronic systems. So if you think of this as a race to develop an incredible solar car of the future, I think you're missing the point. The purpose of this race is to take solar technology to its very limit, and that has all sorts of implications for technology in our everyday lives.
Assuming that this isn't structural, right? They're going to fail the 50-dollar head constraint.
The issue is that we have the driver's head sticking out the back of our structural roll cage zone a little bit. So we aren't quite protecting this area of the helmet enough if the car were to roll and be traveling upside down. I think we'll make it through eventually. I feel confident in that. It might take us a second try for a couple of these bigger issues. Our team tends to be a little scrappy, but I feel like we're going to get through.
Modifications, no matter how simple, can be stressful and risky. With the clock ticking and only the tools they brought from home, Stanford is in for a long, sleepless night fixing their car.
We could rip it out and Bondo over it. If you think that's better, we can do that.
Getting to Australia is the first goal, getting to the start line is the second goal, and then the adventure of driving all the way across Australia through the sacred heart of this ancient land. It's a great spiritual journey.
My friends have told me, you're crazy. Why are you doing this? Why are you spending 80 hours a week in that shop, with those people on that car? And I think the answer is, and I have to keep reminding them and I have to keep reminding myself, we're trying to be the best in the world. We're pushing up against not just limits of what our competition can do, but also just the limits of the technology. And that requires tremendous sacrifice.
The stakes are high for these teams. In addition to the competition, this may be their best chance at getting noticed by the biggest energy and tech companies in the world. It's kind of like a giant job interview. And this event has launched a lot of careers.
Hello, how are you?
I did my PhD in Australia, So I'm really interested in meeting the team from the University of Western Sydney. From what I'm hearing, they're kind of a dark horse this year.
Tell me about the day. What's going on?
We've had ups and downs today. We had a motor controller get a bit hot because we were on track for a while and we were sending it a little bit too quick. We're out here having a good time on track. The drivers are having a blast, and one guy just got a little bit too excited with the throttle.
Yeah, representing the homeland, it's funny, you know, having a lot of the international people come over, and look, we have a bit more fun than we probably should, telling them about, you know, telling them about the venomous kangaroos. There's nothing funnier than watching someone from a foreign country look at a kangaroo and ask you if that's the venomous type to watch out for. We have switched up our like solar cell technology type, so we were previously running a silicon cell.
Incoming!
This year we've moved to gallium arsenide, which is a space-grade cell used on projects like the Hubble telescope.
Unlike the solar panels used on your roof, made from inexpensive and plentiful silicon, gallium arsenide cells are far more efficient. However, they are also more than 1,000 times more expensive to produce, which is why we normally only see them in space.
But I think what really distinguishes the winners is the team itself.
Hold the front. You got it?
You know, we call ourselves a family. We don't call ourselves a team. Yes, obviously you have to have a good car, that goes without saying, but having a good team is what wins a race.
From what I'm hearing, there are several other teams that everyone is keeping an eye on. Sonnenwagen from Germany has an extremely well-engineered car and a robust team. Top Dutch is a first-time entry from the Netherlands, but looking at their car, there's nothing freshman about it. It's impressive. And Team Twente, also from the Netherlands. They have the most compact car in the competition, and thanks to Vattenfall, that Dutch pedigree, which always makes the engineering world take notice. In just a few hours, the World Solar Challenge launches into the outback.
Peter, you're good to go.
Almost all the teams have found their way through scrutineering and have run a timed lap around the track to determine their starting position. Bright and early, teams will head out. Leading the way will be Top Dutch, Sonnenwagen, and Kogakuen from Japan. Behind them in fourth position, Agoria from Belgium, and then Solar Team Twente from the Netherlands, and Takai, also from Japan. With 2,000 miles of perilous desert in front of them, and only the sun to push them through. The adventure is about to begin.